Hi everybody, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. In today's video we are going to be setting up my February budget, and just a warning, if you hear birds, chainsaws, people talking, all of that, I have the windows open, and we had a pretty bad storm blow through in the middle of the night last night, and kind of unexpected in a way, and I have cats making noises as well. The storm got really bad around 1:30 in the morning, and I mean, it literally started raining. The wind picked up, and at one point I looked out one of the windows, and in one part the wind was blowing this way, and then on the, like, coming from a backyard, blowing this way, and from the driveway part the wind was blowing this way. So you had crosswinds happening around that time. I went and looked out the front dining room window, and in between flashes of lightning there was a blue-green flash that happened, and that usually is a transformer blowing, and pretty soon after that I did lose power. And then as I was walking back, and with the wind doing all of that type of stuff, the power's out, I heard a crash, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go hide in the hallway for a little bit. Nothing was giving off tornadoes or sirens or any of that type of stuff. Nothing was going off on my phone, but I just was like, we're just gonna sit in the hallway. I looked, and the storm was moving at 55 miles per hour, and it was on the radar, it was just a straight band of red on there, and it literally blew through in about 10-15 minutes, and then it was gone. And then it was just, you know, small rain after there. However, this morning I went and looked. I'll insert pictures because I took pictures of the branch that fell, and it fell in an awkward location because the tree that it fell from, so we're standing in my front room looking at the tree because it's the one that's in the middle of my backyard. The tree is like this. The branch fell from this side, so the house side of the tree, way up, you know, way up the tree, and the branch itself, and the branch is probably about that thick at the base of the branch trunk basically, and it rotated and went behind my garage, fell down kind of like point first, and then fell into the fence. At this point I can't see but minimal damage to the fence, but if that branch had fallen down 2 to 3 feet further this way, closer to the house, it would have fallen into my garage. I would have had roof damage, all of that type of stuff. So I consider myself very lucky on that, and we have yet to remove it. I'm waiting for a neighbor for the yard to dry up a little bit, so that way he can bring his chainsaw over to cut up the trunk, the branch itself, and then do all of that. But the chainsaws that are going on right now is because neighbors across the street had, I didn't realize it until all the neighbors were out looking, and I saw people talking about looking up at the top of their house and everything, and they actually had a pine tree. And if you know anything about pine trees, they have a tap root system, so their roots go straight down into the ground and have very minimal spreading out. So for them to just teeter over like that is very rare. So the fact that it did that, and it tore up their yard because the whole tap root and everything, just, this tree basically just is resting, or it's getting close to not being resting, but it is literally resting on the patio cover for their back patio. It's kind of built into their house type thing. So they actually have someone out cutting up the tree. So that's the chainsaws. If you hear it, I'm sure you will. But that is what's happened on that. Hardwood trees like oak trees and things like that, their root systems kind of spread out along the top of the ground, and they don't have very many that go deep into the ground. That's why you usually see them topple over and this whole root ball thing comes up. But for pine tree to the taproot to pull up a root ball on that, that is very, very rare. It happens, but very rare. And this tree was at least 45 years old, because it's as old as all the other pine trees that are around this area. Our houses were all built at least 45 years ago. And but I think that tree was there even before that, so it's probably like 50 to 75 years old or more, actually. It could be more than that. So yeah, so it's been exciting. I lost power at 1:30 and it did not come back on until 3 p.m. And so I'm like, okay, now that I have power, it's time to do some work and all of that. So we're gonna go ahead and point the camera down and get started. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, but if it does, there's a little bit of a story time to kind of give you an update. But neighbors are fine. They didn't even hear anything happen. They said that their son kind of woke up hearing a noise, but then fell right back to sleep. It wasn't until some other neighbors, when they put their dog out, they saw the tree and they went over and woke talked to the neighbors and said, "Are you guys okay?" "Yeah, we're okay." Why are you asking?" "Well, there's a tree on your house." "What?" Other words came out as well, but so I love my area. That's why I don't want to move, is because the neighbors want to help each other. And I mean, like that, talking, and I'm like, I have a branch down, and neighbors like, "I'll bring my chainsaw over." I'm like, "Oh, that'd be nice." So it's like that. I love the area that I live in. It's also helps that I've grown up with the neighbors, so they remember me when I was younger and in high school and all of that, because this is the house that I grew up in. So the neighbors have been around for a very long time. They know my parents. They know they know the history. They know that we technically, I guess, even though my mom sold the house to me because it's in the same family, that we're still the same family that bought, like, the original owner of the house. Although I don't know if we could consider it, because I bought the house from my mom. So my mom was the original owner of this house and the only one on our little block of the street. But since she sold it to me, it's like it's still in the family type thing. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm the second owner, but I wasn't alive when the house was built either. So it's like they brought me home a couple years later. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the budget. I'm gonna keep talking because I've been without electricity for many hours. I've kept myself busy working on diamond painting and scrolling TikTok, and you know, I should have read, but I just, for some reason, did not want to pick up a book to read it today. So instead I did other things like that. So let's go ahead and start on the budget. For those of you that have been around, you know that I really don't touch the monthly spread until it is time to start tracking my expenses. I use little stickers that are somewhere. They're over there on the side, but little trackers like this that are color coded based on the type of expenses they are. And for anybody that's new, I am budgeting off of a single income for a single individual that has multiple cats. I have 3 that live inside and a couple strays that I feed outside. And yeah, so that is what we are doing here. There's not really much of a setup, but I am going to fill in all of this stuff over here so that way you guys can see what's going on. But yeah, that's what's happening. Single income, single individual, and I own my house. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on. That's pretty much it. With the 3 cats, those are my children. So that, yeah. But let's go ahead and get started with filling out this information over here. And I get paid twice a month. I do not share that income amounts with you, but I do share the section that's additional income. That could be anything from side hustles that I get paid, or if I'm transferring money from a sinking fund over to pay for something on my checking account. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and put, yes, check. And for additional, I always budget 0 because I never expect anything additional to come through. Now I'm going to be using this as my cheat sheet so that way I don't forget anything. And let's go ahead and get started. Now that we have all of this set up, let's go through it real quick. Crafts 50, electric 150, entertainment 50, fuel auto, that's for any like gas for the car, toll roads, all of that, $100, groceries 400, household 100, miscellaneous 0, natural gas 35, personal $100, pet supplies 350, restaurants 50, sinking funds $1,815, that's $1,815. We'll get into that once we get to the sinking funds. Water is $100, extra to debt is $337.51. I'd like to pay more. In fact, I actually did pay more, and I'll explain that once we get into the debt section and everything. Now going on into the fixed expenses, we have my cell phone is $58.13. The monitoring for my home security is $40.15. Internet is $90. Apple Premiere is $40.61 for a month. Then Discovery Plus is $9.73. Kindle Unlimited is $12.98. Netflix is $12.98. I have 3 credit cards. The first 2 are paid off and have a 0 balance on them. Business credit card, I am going to pay $300 as the minimum payment, but the actual minimum payment is $189.50 this month. But I'm just going to keep it at $300 because I'm trying to pay $662, or it's $362.25 plus the $337.51 total towards debt. And if I can pay more, I'd like to pay more because I'm trying to get both of those gone. Home security loan, this is for the equipment for the home security system. I still have, I think, $1,400 left to pay on that, and it has a 0% interest. We'll go into that more later, but it's only $62.25. Then $100 into my emergency fund. Again, not sharing the income part. I will share if it's above and below what I've estimated or budgeted for. And I'll be right back after I write in all of the sinking fund details. Okay, going into the sinking funds, I have one for my car for inspection and registration, insurance and maintenance. Insurance is currently at 0 because I paid insurance in January. And then this month in February, I need to pay for the inspection and the registration because that's a yearly thing. So I will be adding, I started last month, I will be adding money to this because we'll be using some of this to pay for all of that this month. Clothing is at 2 cents. Gifts is 50.10. House, this includes my, since I don't have a mortgage and I'm not paying rent because I own my house, I have to save up for the yearly taxes, the homeowners associations, the insurance for the house, the maintenance, and any room refreshes. I have a category for that as well. Since I'm trying to make the house my house after buying it December of 22 from my mom. So this month also, insurance will be coming out because insurance is due this month. So we'll see this account go down, and I will be replenishing it starting in March because, yeah, that's how it works. Medical, $110.96. This is to pay for co-pays and anything like that, prescriptions, anything like that. Hopefully we don't have to use this very much this year, but you know, things happen like they did last year. Subscriptions, I have yearly subscriptions that I just like to squirrel away money for, and Amazon Prime is one of them. Quicken is the electronic form of like software that I use to keep count of my accounts and everything. Viki is the platform I use to watch a lot of my Asian dramas. I watch a lot of Korean and Chinese TV shows. So I still watch some on Netflix and some of the other platforms, but Viki is my tried and true. I like that one just because there's a lot to choose from. And then, you know, those other subscriptions that you may have not canceled and need to cancel, but, you know, so I have an other subscription as well. I have one for summer bills, and I have a whole video talking about why I have a summer bill sinking fund. I will leave a card somewhere at some point for that, but it's basically, I live in the south of the US, and it gets very hot in the summertime. And my bills in the wintertime are a lot lower than my summer bills. So basically what I do is I take what I've budgeted for electric, water, and natural gas. I will take that, subtract the actuals during the winter time, and whatever is remaining, positive number, I will transfer into this summer bills sinking fund. So that way in the summertime, when I take the budgeted amount minus the actual, which the actual will be higher than the budgeted amount, I will take that negative number and basically pull that amount. I'll get rid of the negative part of it, but take the number and pull that amount and transfer it over so that way I can pay my summer bills. I have been doing this from when I lived paycheck to paycheck, and I continue to do it so that way I'm trying to keep my budget on a very steady basis so that way I don't have very many surprises except for my frivolous expenses, the spending that I do at Amazon and shopping and, you know, that type of stuff. But to have my bills kind of on a straight and narrow and not have any surprises throughout the year. I have been hit with surprises, but it helps to have this stuff away, like squirreled away, to be able to pay for a lot of that. So that is why I set that up. I live by it to this day, and I will never change this just because my summer bills are a lot higher because of having to run the AC when you're in 100-degree temperatures, and it's just, you know, it happens. Taxes, this is to pay for the taxes, or in this case, I will talk about this, I guess, here. Actually, no, I'll talk about it at the end. But basically, this is to pay for filing my taxes every year, and I'll talk about it later, but basically, I'm also I've thrown some money into, extra money into that in case I have to pay taxes. And when I say that, it means I need to, in case I owe the IRS more than what was taken out of my actual income that I get. So from what I've been seeing, a lot of people are having to do that. I need to go and change my W-4 because I don't think I changed it in 2020 when the IRS changed the whole rules for the W-4. I need to go and review that and change it, I think. And so that way I have more money taken out of my paychecks to cover the taxes. So that way I'm not having to pay the IRS more. So I'd rather pay the IRS. You know, I don't want to pay the IRS. I want it to be pretty much like I get, like I did last year, where it was like $140 or $14 or something like that. It was close to almost breaking even. So I did get a refund. I don't want to have thousands of dollars returned or where I have to pay. I want to get it to where it's kind of right at the middle of the thing. And, you know, neither one of us owe too much to each other, because if you pay too much to the IRS and it's sitting there and then they have to give you a big return at the end of the year, you've had money available that hasn't been gaining any interest, and it could have been sitting in your bank account gaining interest and all of that. But so that's where I'm kind of like, I'd rather it just break even, so that way I'm not having to like play the whole cycle and all of that type of stuff. Trash is paid quarterly, so saving up for trash. And vacation, I am going on vacation in June, so I'm trying to save up money here. So you'll see this go up. I transfer money over at the beginning of the month, so we'll get into that in week 1 check-in, which will be will it be this Friday? Yeah, it will be this Friday when I do week 1 check-in. So you'll see that as I've I've added stuff in there. Vet, I have 3 cats that live inside that go to the vet on a regular basis, and I have a few outside cats, so I always have a vet fund in case I have to take any of them back. Like I need to take Jack and Bingson for teeth cleaning, and I need to call the vet and make sure that we have an appointment in February so I can get a 15% discount for both of them, because it is dental health month at the vet this February. So I want to make sure to get them in and hopefully not go much over this, but if I do, it's okay. It happens. Then I have YouTube, and I have some like other business expenses for some of my other side hustles. So I've actually set up a savings account to be able to pay for a lot of the subscriptions that are yearly subscriptions. So that's what this business is. It's to help cover that, because I do not currently have a separate business account right now, except for this. So that's where we're at. I am going to go ahead and fill out the debt tracker and savings tracker, and I will be right back. Going on into debt, like I said, I have 3 credit cards. Credit card 1 and 2 are paid off. There's nothing owed on those, and I'm going to keep it that way as much as possible. If I put anything on a credit card, it will be to credit card 2, and credit card 1 may have a monthly or yearly fee. That's the like maintenance fee or something, and it's $95 usually. And if that happens, I just pay it because it's the fee for the card. Credit card 2 does not have a fee, but that is the card that I use if like I go to the vet and I won't get the transfer from sinking funds fast enough. I will put it on the credit card number 2 and then go ahead and set it up to be paid from the sinking fund for the vet. So yeah, that's kind of, credit card 2 is just used for that type of thing where it's, I have the money, it's just not going to be easy to get to in a couple days. So I just kind of pay it on the credit card and then come home and quickly make a transfer to the credit card, and it will take a couple days for the transfer to go through. Business credit card is the one that I am currently trying to pay off because it has like a 24%. It's ridiculous on the percentage. And I started it when it was a 0%, and through the years it's just gone up incrementally. I could probably call them to see if they could lower the interest rate, because I've paid the credit card off since I've opened the credit card, and I have decent credit. So why is my interest rate so high? So that's kind of, you know, where I could talk them down on some other things as well. But right now we have $7,199.92. Over in this column, I added how much the interest, or I added the word "and additional," because I'm basically going to put how much I got paid, or how much I paid towards the credit card. And then I know I have interest that gets added on, and I have some additional fees. Like this past month, I had my web security stuff. That's a normal business expense. I had that come out, but I also had to buy external hard drives and some other things for business related stuff, and that was additional that I put on the credit card. So when I get over here, it's like I want to see this number minus this number plus this number equals that number, that type of thing. That's what I've been doing. And then the home security loan, it is a loan for the equipment for the home security system of my house. It was opened up to basically just cover the equipment itself. There's no interest rates or anything on this. It's 0% interest. So that is like my least concern right now, because I pay it on a regular basis. It's only $62.25. My main focus is to put as much money to the one that has the highest interest rate, which is business credit card number 2 at the moment. So, of the ones that I have to pay back. I don't know about the other 2 credit cards with their interest rates, because they're at 0. So I'm not really, it's like I worry about it, but I don't worry about it because I'm not owing anything to them. So total debt is $8,625.51. I know for a fact I have paid some money already to debt. That will be in the week 1 update, but I will tell you why at the very end of this video on to why I did that. But if you watched my January budget set or ending budget, like week 4, I think is it, I kind of said why I'm able to do this. Okay, going on into savings emergency fund. This is the one that is kind of attached to my checking account, so it's kind of my overdraft in case that ever happens. So I think doesn't have a high enough amount in there, so I have to set up a monthly transfer of at least $25, so that way I'm not charged the bank fees for that. So at the end of the year, we'll transfer out $1,200, and then whatever interest is earned, and it's usually about 1 cent every month, because the APR on the interest, it's ridiculous on this savings account. But it's there so that way if I need to pull from it, I can pull from it quickly and be done with it. Money market is emergency fund to the emergency fund. This one is a little bit more difficult for me to get to, but it is there in case I need to pull from it. And then I opened up this high yield savings account last month, and so I transferred out $5,000 from the money market into the high yield savings account, and I am happy with it so far. I wanted it to be also, I wanted to get a little bit more interest and all of that type of stuff, and I really do not want to touch this amount. So I'm going to focus on increasing the emergency fund and the money market, and just eventually, once I pay off debt, I'll be adding more to all of this down here. The other 3 things are retirement. I will not share the actual amounts on those. But I do have a total of what it all adds up to. So I do have a lot in the 401k and the funds. The funds were one of those things that were kind of inherited from my grandmother. So my mom got them when my grandmother passed away, and then my mom split it out between my sisters and me. And so yeah, it's funds. It's not easy for me to get to. I do get a 1099 dividend on the funds, so that is what causes me to always question if I'm going to have to pay taxes, because I haven't figured out how much I need to have pulled out of my paycheck to cover the dividends and everything that come out of that. So that is something I'm really going to focus on this year, is trying to figure that out, and so that way I'm not having to pay the IRS every year, because like I said, I want to have it to be where it's, we're breaking even between the two of us. And going on into my business budget. And business budget, nothing spectacular. I'm always at a loss with this currently, but these are the few side hustles that I have. So I have YouTube. I am still shy some hours. I haven't checked my status yet, but let me go ahead and check on that. Let's see. I need 4,000 public watch hours, and definitely they have increased. 4,000 minus 3,488. I still need 512 watch hours to be monetized. I do have 1,086 subscribers, so thank you everybody. And Jack is, I'll pan out so you can see Jack and his reaching paws. Yeah, so thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you. So YouTube, I do have like book editing, written word editing type stuff. I do have that as well. That doesn't make much money. Amazon, there's a couple things, Amazon affiliate, and then I've done some publishing type stuff out there as well, and I'm still looking at setting up an Etsy shop and everything. So that's the incomes that I am not, I mean, look at this. He's trying to help me budget. You're kind of in the way though. So as far as expenses go, for variable, we have office supplies, equipment, software, stickers, miscellaneous, and any Etsy fees. And right now I have it all at 0. And then web security is at $37.51, and that's to monitor my editing website for so that no one's hacking into it and doing stuff and all of that. So I forgot to put that total down here. Jack has made it very difficult. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. So that is my budget. Hi, Sam. In the camera, I saw a little head and had to look because, you know, 3 black cats. You never can tell through the little viewfinder who is there. But let me just hold this obnoxious boy. Obnoxiously cute. Yes, you are. So that is my February, February, that fat lip of mine, February budget for 2024. Go get him, Jack. Now, some things that have happened since in January, the end of January, I was very lucky to get a bonus from work, and it's the yearly bonus, so I received that. And with that, after I finished January budgets video, I went through and I calculated, I have to get my cheat sheet over here. I calculated how much it was. I rounded down about $170 to the nearest 1,000 mark, like so. And from there, I was like, okay, we're working with this amount, and a quarter was going to go to, how did I split it? Normally when I get bonuses like that, I do a quarter for fun money for me, a quarter goes into savings, and then the other half pays off debt. And I didn't quite do that this time because I have some things that I want to be able to afford when they happen. So I have vacation in June. I still need to pay the remaining amount on that. And so I basically was like trying to calculate how much I still owed on the vacation. And they already have $500 that I pre-registered with. So I need to get in contact with them to have that put on my account. So that way I only have to owe $843 for the vacation part, where it's the hotel and the arrangements they've all made. And then I still need to buy a flight. So I kind of did a quick search on how much it would be, and I pushed it up because of taxes and the fees that you have to pay for baggage and all of that. So $600 for vacation for the flight. And then I'm like, okay, food is not included in on the stuff. So I was like, okay, let's do $400 for food and souvenirs, that type of stuff. So total, with all of that, I needed to pay $1,800 still for vacation. And I had $475 in my vacation fund. So I subtracted that from the $1,800 because that's already in vacation fund. That's technically like the food bit and everything. And so I needed to physically cover almost $1,400 on the vacation. So I went ahead and transferred, I think it was $1,400 that I transferred over. I can't remember at this point. We'll see it in the check-in, but I transferred $1,400 over into vacation fund. And then I was like, I didn't know how much taxes, if I'm going to owe taxes or not. I wanted to be prepared. So I went ahead and just transferred $1,000 over into the sinking fund for taxes in case I have to owe any money. At least I have something to pull from. I mean, worst case scenario would be that if I owe more than the $1,000, which I hope I don't, I'll just pull from one of the emergency funds that I have. It is what it is at this point. I'm going to work to get that corrected so I'm not having to owe anything. But I know last year I was very close to owing, and I I mean, with only getting 114, 140, I can't remember. It was in $100. I know that it was 1 and 2 digits. I can't remember the other two, but since I was so close to that, I'm very fearful that I am going to have to pay something back, but I'm hoping it's not thousands of dollars, because that just kind of frightens me a little bit. So move that over. So I have $2,400 out of $4,000 basically, that I've allotted to certain things. So then I was looking, I'm like, okay, I still have 2,600, I think. Or was it 1,600? $1,600 left. So I went ahead and said, let's just do $1,400 to business credit card. So you'll see that in Friday's budget update, but I paid $1,400 to the business credit card. So I did do that. And then whatever's remaining is just for, I'm keeping in my checking account for me to spend. And I know February is a no spend month, so I'm trying not to spend money, but I needed to get some more face stuff. So I went and ordered some stuff from Origins, and so that's part of my, it was $90 out of my fun money from my bonus, and I think I still have like $150 or $200 or something like that I will figure out what to do. Right now I don't have anything, so it'll just be like when I go to buy stuff from Amazon, which I have a huge Amazon cart right now, and I'm trying not to buy because I am trying to do a no spend month. So it's like I'm trying not to spend the money. But that's kind of what I've done with that. Some other things that have happened, and again, if you watched the January budget update for week 4, I mentioned this in that video as well, because it's kind of was, it's unofficially official, if you can describe it that way. But at work, I put my name in for a manager role and I got the job. So I am having more responsibility and I am excited and not as nervous as I was before, but you know, I'm an overthinker, so I'm always going to be nervous about anything I ever do. I mean, every time I post a video, I've been doing this for so long that I'm still nervous when they go live, and I'm like nervous about the comments that people are gonna, which I know I shouldn't be, because I have very good viewers and commenters and all of that stuff, and I enjoy talking to you guys. But I'm an overthinker. I overthink everything, and I have like, okay, if it goes good, this is what we can do. And I have 15 contingency plans for if it goes well, and if it goes bad, we have 15 contingency, maybe more than that, in case it goes bad, because that's just how my brain works. At least I know that about myself. So it's kind of like, I try not to be negative about things, but it just like today with the storm and not having power, one of my aunts was like, you always look at the positive side of things, because I had posted, I'm like, well, I guess I'll go read how did I put it? It was on Facebook. I guess I'll go read, since Mother Nature has, you know, taken my power out or something like that. And I mean, it wasn't negative. It's just like, okay, this happened. It happened. Let's move on. You know, it's the whole life gives you lemons, make lemonade out of it type thing. So it's kind of like, okay, I have no power. Let's just have some instant coffee. And yes, it's going to be from the tap, you know, using tap water that's cold. But at that point, you know, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. The power's been out since 1:30. There's not much I can do about that. I was getting calls and emails from the electric company. They knew about it. They were working on it. But if they had transformer blow, because of the color in the sky that I saw, they may have had to wait for the storm to pass through, because it was bad storm. I mean, bad storm. And then I then they probably had to wait for something to come in, like they had to assess what was wrong with it, and if they had to get a part or something like that, it takes time, and then they have to put it on, and then when they turn the power on, they don't want to have, you know, transformers down the line. And I've heard that happen in the past, mainly after hurricanes, when the electric company is out there and it's like they get one transformer working, and then all of a sudden you start hearing, it's like you hear the energy surge, and it's a weird sound. If you've never heard it before, it's just all of a sudden you hear the noise of energy just surging through wherever, and it is weird. It's a weird sound, and you just, I mean, you're outside and you just hear it out there as it tries to start up, and then right down the line you have a transformer blow. It's like as soon as they get one working, the next one would break. And so it only has happened like that I've heard that after hurricanes, because I mean there's so many people trying to use electricity after hurricanes and all of that. But I think because there are other areas in my neighborhood that had power, it only flickered a little bit for them during that storm, that they were okay. But we had definitely a transformer blow. The fact that it took 12 plus hours for the power to come back. So anyways, so good news all around on one. I got a bonus. It was not one that I was expecting, so I always enjoy getting those, so that way I, you know, I'm able to afford my vacation and put some stuff to debt and do all of that, and have a little bit extra, you know, not much, but a little bit of extra. And in the end, if I don't owe taxes, or if say I only owe $500 to taxes or something like that, I'll take whatever I had remaining and I'll put that towards debt once that time comes around. But I have to wait until April, because I am a co-director on my mom's corporation for her tree farm, and I have to wait for her CPA to file her business taxes and to get the Schedule K form on that for me to fill out my taxes. So she's working on hers right now, all of hers, and I mean, she's still probably gonna wait. I'm like, she tries to take her business and personal taxes in at the same time, so that way they can just do it in one swoop. But she knows business taxes have to be filed by March 15th. So she tries to get it all in there before then and let him have some time. And she's very detailed about her. She's one of the best clients that any CPA can have when it comes to assessing taxes and all of that, because she keeps detailed notes on everything. And then, so I really won't, I don't want to try to file my taxes and then all of a sudden I'll put that in there and I just all of a sudden get hit. So I haven't even pulled all the stuff for me, you know, the 1099 dividend, the 1099 interest for the sinking funds. I haven't pulled any of that. Or even my W-2 form either. Because I'm like, I'll deal with that when it's time to deal with it. I don't want to put stuff in there and say, oh yes, I'm going to get this much back, and then all of a sudden when I go to file, all of a sudden and I have all the forms and I do it and then I have to pay. So it is what it is. I am not the best when it comes to financial things. I'm just doing what works for me, and you know, filing my taxes this way works for me, and all of that. And even doing budgeting, it's, you know, I've watched many budgeting videos. There are different ways to budget, but this works for me. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I will be back on Sunday with a clean with me, and Friday with a budget check-in for week 1 of February, and then on Sunday with the cleaning video. And I will be deep cleaning the bedrooms, both the main bedroom and the guest bedroom, and doing a deep clean in those rooms, because that's the zone that it's time to focus on for next week. And then I'll also do a whole house reset. I plan to start filming that tomorrow. today has just kind of been a bust. It is now 4:48, and with the power being out until 3 o'clock, I haven't done anything. And I could have been cleaning, but because my batteries require electricity to charge up, I just did not want, not knowing when power would come back, I just was like, we're just gonna sit and do nothing. So that's exactly what I did. So anyways, as I leave while the chainsaw is going, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back, and I hope that you guys are on track to pay your debt and everything by the end of the year, or whenever your focus is. Mine is definitely for the end of the year, so this $1,400 that I have paid towards debt, this just within the last couple days, it's a significant help on paying off the debt. So I will be back next time. Thanks everybody, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye everybody.